Cities across Ukraine have been targeted by a wave of Russian missile strikes in one of the largest bombardments since the war began. At least 3 people, including a 14-year-old girl, were taken to hospital after explosions hit the capital Kyiv, Mayor Vitaliy Klitschko said. Blasts were also heard in the cities of Kharkiv, Odesa, Lviv and Zhytomyr. Ukraine's military said 69 missiles were launched, with air defenses intercepting 54 of them. Earlier, presidential advisor Mykhailo Podolyak said more than 120 missiles had been launched at civilian infrastructure. The air raid lasted for close to 5 hours, and the regional leader of the southern province of Odesa, Maksym Marchenko, spoke of a massive missile attack on Ukraine. The Ukrainian Air Force said Russia attacked the country from various directions with air and sea-based cruise missiles. It added that a number of Kamikaze drones had also been used. As air raid alerts sounded in all regions of the country, presidential advisor Alexei Arestovich urged civilians to seek shelter and said the country's air defenses were operating. In Kyiv, 2 homes were damaged by debris from intercepted missiles, according to the city military administration. Mr. Klitschko said 16 missiles were destroyed over the city by air defenses. In the southern region of Mykhailo, Governor Vitaliy Klitschko wrote that 5 missiles were intercepted by air defenses. Mr. Marchenko said 21 missiles were shot down in the Odesa region. He added that missile fragments had hit a residential building, but no casualties were reported. And in the western city of Lviv, Mayor Andriy Sadovy said several explosions had been reported. Mr. Podolyak accused Moscow of seeking to destroy critical infrastructure and kill civilians en masse. In a village in the western region of Ivano-Frankivsk, a senior advisor to President Volodymyr Zelensky said a missile had crashed into a resident's home but did not explode. Dozens of Russian attacks have pounded Ukraine in recent weeks, causing repeated power cuts across the country. Ukraine's Energy Minister Herman Halushchenko said the attacks had damaged power generating facilities and said the situation was difficult in the Odesa and Kyiv regions. The mayor of Lviv said on Thursday that 90% of his city was without power, while Mr. Klitschko said that 40% of Kyiv had been left without power. Power cuts were also reported in the Odesa and Dnipropetrovsk regions. Alexander Vilkel, head of the military administration in the central city of Kryvyi Rih, said missiles fired at his city had been launched from Russian ships and planes from the Black Sea. Power in the city had been switched off as a precaution, he added. Ukraine's Southern Command had already issued a warning that Russian forces were preparing to launch up to 20 missiles from positions in the Black Sea. In one barrage earlier this month, Ukraine said it shot down 60 of more than 70 missiles fired by Russian forces. Moscow has repeatedly denied targeting civilians in its missile strikes. However, President Vladimir Putin has recently admitted that Russian troops have been hitting Ukraine's critical energy facilities. The admission followed allegations from some international leaders, including French President Emmanuel Macron, that targeting energy facilities could amount to a war crime. The government in Kyiv has pleaded with Western leaders to provide it with additional air defenses, and U.S. President Joe Biden recently agreed to supply its Patriot system. Continuing that thought, can they do this long? He asked. No, because there are not many missiles left. The defense industry is incapable of producing enough to provide that many missile strikes. This is another reason why they are now trying to find missile weapons in other countries of the world. Earlier this month, a senior U.S. official told the Reuters news agency that Moscow had been forced to use decades-old ammunition with high failure rates in recent weeks, and the UK